It's time for Being Watched, this time The Fix, where we are introduced to this week's number, Zoe Morgan, who is played wonderfully by Paige Turco, who is mostly known for her performance as April O'Neil in the original movie series in the 90s, also Only 2 and 3. She's a very fancy lady who gets chauffeured everywhere, so John steals that guy's job so he can ride along with her adventures. She's deeply suspicious of him and checks with the company before getting in the car with him. The company happens to be Harold, though, and he did all his homework.
Bill's come down with laryngitis, caught it from his son.
Which son?
Andy, the younger one.
So Zoe's getting in the car with stipulations.
No small talk, no questions. You stay in the car and you keep your eyes on the road.
What are you, crazy? What am I gonna do with half a yard?
You might tell Taki that he'll get the rest of this after we've talked.
She has a very interesting evening planned. First, she needs to go out to the pier or somewhere and meet with her boy Slip to exchange money for something in a bag. She then takes a gun out of the bag and takes it to the policeman's ball. It takes John a second too long to realize what happens when someone buys a gun in the alley and then takes it to a building full of cops and rushes inside.
Only reason you buy a gun off the street is so it's untraceable. Possible her number came up because she plans to kill someone.
There's a bit of tension as she approaches Lieutenant Gilmore in an empty hallway, but there was no reason to worry because she just hands it to him. It was in fact her job to find this gun, an officer's service weapon that he left in a random public bathroom, and return it without anyone knowing, because that's the kind of shit police do for each other. Cover up their moronic mistakes without any discipline, normal cop stuff. John surmises that Zoe Morgan is a fixer, someone who fixes problems for the city's elites. That's why this lady with no job lives in a very fancy but sterile apartment full of jazz records and a gun. Oh, Harold got to break into her house this time and snoop around. He was just hiding in the bushes when John picked her up, which implies when she talked to him before, he was literally 20 feet away. He must have been whispering. They keep an eye on her during her next job, where she is hired to fetch a tape from a journalist by some pharmaceutical company guy. You know, normal shady stuff, and the job itself is easily achieved, but it starts going sideways when they get back to drop off the tape. John takes one look at the car and suggests to Zoe he go hand it to them, which leads to her rightfully chastising him.
Let me take care of this, Zoe.
It's Ms. Morgan. Get back in the car.
But he luckily doesn't stand around when they start trying to bully her into getting into their car. And they get away. John and Zoe trade barbs because John clearly isn't just a driver, and Zoe decides she might as well use John and the strange man in his ear and transfers over the file that the pharma company, Vertanen, was willing to kill for. Oh, yeah, they are a murdering, as the journalist from before has been killed. There's something super important on that tape, so Finch gets on to coding it. Oh, yes, this is very stupid. This taped conversation for some reason needs to be unlocked multiple times, as it starts out normal, and then a whole bunch of room tone somehow garbles it to the point of being unlistenable. So when they first listen to the conversation, it's between the evil CTO, I think his name is Mark Lawson, and a woman who Finch identifies as someone that was on his murder board, Dana Miller. Her number had come up 3 months before. Because all they hear before the room tone muddies the conversations, the two talking about a secret, they assume it is the usual illicit affair business, which is pretty sexist of them, frankly.
Dana Miller, Lawson's mistress, was an office romance. Nice work, Finch.
Only after Finch has run through his magic room tone button, he's able to get another 30 seconds, but not all of it. So they discover the thing they're actually discussing was about a study that the company tampered with. Actually, guys, Dana Miller was gay and not interested in Mark Lawson. Don't you feel stupid? So they need to start investigating Vertanen, and what easier way is there than to purchase a significant enough portion of the company that Mark Lawson drops everything to meet with Finch. They even bring in the old and stately CEO, who takes him out to dinner later.
Guy isn't just a shareholder. He's bought 87 million shares in the last 48 hours.
Damn, seems like Finch can throw around a huge amount of cash at a moment's notice. How much did Fusco need to give the cartel? $1 million?
Leaves you on the hook for $1 million worth of cocaine.
Billionaires, man. Finch gets a tour as Mr. Partridge and learns more about the new revolutionary drug the company is about to launch, with the CEO retiring soon with Mark already at the reins, and they still want to kill Zoe Morgan. And John too. So they have to protect her, which is going to be hard to do because she bounced on John earlier and has gone aground. No electronic transactions, phone off. They're getting worried when her phone suddenly pops back on and John tracks it down to a restaurant where Zoe is waiting for him. She doesn't get John's deal, who he works for, because she knows everyone, but she's willing to use him. They trade information, she knows more than John does about Dana Miller, and then the tension gets too hot.
You want to get out of here?
Where are we going?
To do something illegal.
Hang on, before we rush into the climax, I need to mention the B-plot, where we get an answer to what is up with the knife from episode 3. This show really does a good job of weaving plot points in across episodes, as we're reminded again about Elias. Who is Elias? What's up with Elias? Have you guys heard about Elias? The knife from the box ended up inside this guy's chest, an old mafia hitman who killed a woman with his knife a couple decades back, and she had a son who had been thrust into the foster system and kinda disappeared. So Carter hunts down a retired detective who might know this guy, and he remembered something, but then Carter finds him dead because Elias ties up loose ends before they become a problem. That's all. That's all you need to know about Elias. He's a bad guy who is up to something. They break into Vertana and poke around the computers and find out Lawson had tampered with a clinical trial, normal evil pharma stuff, thousands could die. Amazing how frequently this happens in genre television, really. They get the original report through computer shenanigans, but Harold needs to 100% this quest and asks for a moment of silence so he can grab the room tone of the exact place where the recording happened.
Wait, what does that sound?
Air conditioning, why?
That's what I've been missing. Listen, don't talk, don't move. I need a clean recording.
Allowing him to fully decode it. It's so dumb. All we learn is that the retiring CEO knew all about the removed deaths in the trial and the murders because they were teasing us that maybe he wasn't evil too, that Lawson was doing this without telling him or something. I don't know, the whole thing is silly. Zoe and John get caught because the police lieutenant they told they were doing this turned on them. Damn, it's crazy that every cop we meet besides Carter just sucks, huh? They are tied up and left alone in the room to flirt some more before the bad guys come in to chat and offer them a deal. Whoever gives back the report first gets to live. Zoe does take that deal, leaving John with a smooch as an apology, and also a paperclip that he can use to break his cuffs. John's left alone with this guy with a syringe of potassium chloride, which we are told will make your heart stop in minutes. And of course, John breaks free and grabs that syringe and injects it into the man. So he's dead. Body count 3. I guess this is only the second confirmed one. I think all the Schrodinger murders will count as like 0.1. If we ever get to 10 of those, it will just get upgraded to one whole murder. So body count 2.1. Wait, I 100% forgot about the assassin and ghosts. So 2.2. Yeah, that's a normal way to track that. Then John rushes to save Zoe in time when Mr. Lawson sees through her bluff, and Harold gloats about the company's eventual collapse because he is absolutely leaking the report. And also he short-sold his stocks, which I'm pretty sure is a crime. Like Martha Stewart went to prison for this, Harold. It's fine. Mr. Partridge isn't real. Billionaires can do whatever they want, I guess. So yeah, the good guys win. Zoe Morgan is safe for now because there is no way in hell she's going to stop being a fixer. Have you seen how rad she is? She's cool as hell. Maybe she'll be back later. Maybe she's a recurring character who appears 8 more times. Wouldn't that be fun? Yeah, this was a great little romp, and watching Zoe just be awesome is worth the time.
I made a copy. I'm discreet, not stupid.
Next time, remember that subplot where Carter was chasing down Elias and hit a dead end? They didn't keep us waiting long. We meet Elias in this episode. Who do you think it is? Is it the character actor you recognize? Keep an eye out. You are being watched.
You are being watched.